In previous videos, I discussed the first two strategies to raise staff productivity and keep staff costs low. They were organize the person and systematize the process. But let's say you've already done that. You've helped some members of your staff become better organized and you've implemented some great systems. But now you notice that someone on your staff is becoming overwhelmed. There doesn't seem to be enough time for them to get all their work done. So you think, maybe we should hire someone to help out, but this will drive your staff costs higher. What we usually have in this case is an uneven distribution of work in the practice, which decreases the overall practice productivity. Maybe it's the clinical assistants who are busier than the business office, or the office manager is overwhelmed and taking on too many responsibilities, or you have too much to do and may not have delegated enough as the practice grew. The thing is, we can't be too rigid about who does what in the practice. As I mentioned in a previous video, every practice has a reception function. Every practice has a marketing function. Every practice has a collections function. Every practice has a communication function. And every practice has a clinical function. So we shouldn't be organizing our practice around people who fill certain traditional roles or positions, but rather we need to reverse our thinking. We're a practice with certain critical functions, and we should constantly adapt the people to serve those functions independent of those named positions. To do that, we need to use the third strategy, which is redistribute the responsibilities. Sometimes the job is too big for one person in the time they have available. Let's face it, that's usually the office manager or practice administrator who tends to be the person we give everything to when something needs to be done. This happened to us. Several years ago, our practice was growing and the office manager was becoming overwhelmed by all her duties. She couldn't find time to do the marketing which we had planned. So we needed to find someone to spend 15 to 20 hours per week executing our marketing system. We could have hired a part-time person, but we decided against it. Instead, noticing that our two receptionists were not as busy during the mid-morning, we had one of them leave the front desk during the time and go to a computer station in the back to work on marketing. Prior to this, we had already had specific plans for what we wanted to accomplish each month. So we had organized and systematized our marketing. We only needed someone to execute it. We still wanted the office manager to oversee it, but we wanted someone else to do some of the time-consuming work so the office manager could be freed up to focus on other important things. So after the morning rush to seat patients, we had this receptionist marketing person leave the front desk, meet with the office manager, and decide what were today's next steps on the marketing plan. She would then go to a computer station in the back and work for several hours on those tasks. And then prior to lunch, she would debrief the office manager on what was accomplished and then plan the next day. After the receptionist was cross-trained, this freed up our office manager who could be more productive with her more critical duties. The point is this: when we're redistributing an important function like marketing, we often want to move someone from doing the task to only supervising the task. This applies to us as well. If we're becoming overwhelmed, we can delegate some of our time-consuming tasks that we still do, and we don't have to give up control of the results. We can work out a good system, delegate it to a competent staff person, and still supervise the process. Remember the adage we should live by: do only what only you can do and delegate the rest. So, the three best strategies to increase productivity and keep staff costs low are 1. Organize the person, 2. Systematize the process, and 3. Redistribute the responsibilities. We should constantly adjust our staff roles and responsibilities to adapt to our patient demand and ever-changing practice environment. And when something important isn't getting done, we should view our practice as a series of essential functions, not by a number of staff positions. And then think, do I need an additional person? Or is there a way to organize, systematize, or redistribute this function with my present staff? And whatever you do, don't make the mistake of throwing people at your problems. It's never the best solution if you want a productive staff and a more profitable practice. If you want more information about this and other subjects on how to make your practice more successful and less stressful, go to my website, successnotstress.org. There you'll find an article on how to get yourself out of being overwhelmed and other practice topics that make your practice more profitable and more enjoyable.